Welcome back to Studio Chatter. We can learn a lot from watching others, even about love. Our next guest had done just that. Welcome, Lori Shenk, to the table. Welcome.
Hi. We're so thrilled to have you here.
Good. I'm happy to be here.
You're a local girl.
I am.
I love following you on Instagram because your family has grown so big, and you guys have fun together. And so when we were like brainstorming, who should we have come share their story? We thought of you because you can just feel the love, like from the grandkids to your kids to you and Joe and your love for your parents. And so we've just asked that you come and share with us and our viewers, like, what you do to make it all tick.
Well, my husband's a big key in that because he's all about the party and he loves to spend time together. We love traditions, but they're not your typical traditions.
Okay,
right? Yes, right. Yeah,
it's not even a list because one thing that I found with a growing family, because we have so many of us now.
Okay, wait. Yeah, stop right there. So tell us about just your immediate family. How many kids do you have?
I have 5 children, and we're expecting our 20th grandchild.
I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
Like you're just like
it's chaos.
So yeah,
and you're not wrapping it up either.
No, I mean, not quite. So we're slowing down though.
Yeah, you're slowing down. But last year, or was it 2 years ago, you guys had 5 in a year.
Yes, and this last year we had, I think, 4 or 5 too.
That's awesome.
The oldest one's 10, so there's 20.
Goodness. Okay, so non-typical, like what kind of traditions?
Well, I've found that when you make a plan and you try and have your typical traditions that you normally do, it ends up being the disappointment because people change. You're adding families, you're adding different age kids and stuff, and so you kind of really have to just go with the flow. And really, the only thing that we have in common for our traditions are that we're present. And we're intentional, and we, give them our time and our love. And so as long as that activity or time that we spend with them encompasses that, we call that a tradition.
I like that.
So, yeah.
So give us an example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, well, let's go back to my mom and dad.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, my parents, they have a wonderful, beautiful love story. And I've lost both of my parents in the last year and a half. And it's made me and my husband, all of us, kind of reflect on what's important and what we want to bring into our family and what we want to be known for and stuff. And they were very intentional in the way that they lived. And so that has kind of been a family goal of ours. And at the end of the day, people don't really remember what you said or what you did. It's how you made them feel.
Exactly. That's where you're the second person today that's said that to me.
Really?
Yeah. Better write that down.
Important.
It is important.
So they set a really good example in the fact that they made a plan and they would follow through with it, and it was stuff that they thought that the children would like, or the kids or adults or whatever. So they would start with I'm really making this up.
No,
they'll just slice it.
Yep.
It started with them, and you have to ask yourself the question, I think, what do you want to be intentional about? What do you want to be known for? Like, what kind of parent or what kind of grandparent or what kind of spouse do you want to be? Do you want to, be the funny one? Do you want to be the one that really teaches and, has, teaches them and
there's so many different angles.
Yeah. So if you are intentional about it and sit down and write it down, then you accomplish what you want. And that kind of happened recently with the death of my parents. We're we really need to be intentional on what we want to accomplish. And my father and my mother had a lot of great fun little traditions. My dad was a real jokester, so he loved to play pranks. We've kind of carried on that tradition, and every holiday or Christmas we kind of search on YouTube all the great pranks and play them on all the grandkids, and they love it. And
that's fun.
We love it, so it's
So what kind of, so you talk about your parents, or was it your grandparents? Your parents?
My parents, yeah.
Yes, what was their love affair like?
My dad just adored my mom. He passed away 1 year to almost the hour of when she did.
Oh, wow.
And I just know that he just needed to be with her. But when both of them passed away and we were going through all of their stuff, we found love letters from when they were dating and when they were engaged. And they kind of carried on that tradition with our whole family, our whole life. My dad was an undercover vice detective, and he would come home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he'd leave us notes, and we would leave him notes. And there were books full of all of these love letters, and they were so precious.
What a legacy.
It really was. And the last letter he wrote was for Christmas, the year before he passed away, and he wrote it to all of us children about how he said the most important gift that he could give his children was to love his mom, love their mom. And so the letter was all about that, and it was just so precious. And like there was no doubt that there was love in our home, and that's really a big legacy that my husband and I want to make sure that we carry on in our
That your kids see your love.
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, with all those grandkids, we it can be overwhelming. There's like so many kids there all the time. When the first grandchild was born, my husband said, "You know what? The weekends are for you and I, and we're together. We can play and we can do all these things with the grandkids during the week, and you can babysit, but I want you on the weekends." And that made me feel special.
Oh, yeah.
So all your grandchildren are here?
They are. They live within 5 minutes of me. One lives next door. 6 live next door, and 2 of them live with me. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
My gosh.
Which really kind of seems to be the opposite, because you would think that the grandkids would get pawned off on the weekends when they want to be out doing their thing. So lucky you.
Yes, it's all about the play. But then sometimes we end up all together. So and that's fun too.
I've noticed that as my kids have become adults, they want to hang out with us, but we want to hang out with them, and it's fun.
Yeah. Oh,
It's kind of like that's the group you want to hang out with.
Absolutely.
Whereas when you're raising kids, you're just like, ooh, get me out of here.
Oh, so lucky that they get to grow up next door to you, though, because I grew up next door to my grandparents, and there really is just that little worn path between Grandma and Grandpa's house when you get to skip back and forth. So I envy that, and they probably just love that. So lucky you, lucky them.
It's been good, and I still even do like craft day and grandma camp and stuff like that, just because I like to be intentional in what I'm doing, and
So
I like
what
to teach them skills.
what does your grandma camp look like? I've heard of grandmas doing that.
Well, I love to craft.
Yes, you
and
do.
my granddaughters love to craft, and my grandsons aren't quite old enough to do grandma camp yet. So we go up to our cabin and we lock ourselves in there, and the parents aren't allowed to come. And I try and teach them new skills, and we cook together, and we make crafts together, and we read together. And I try to, teach them skills at the same time. But the most important thing is just making sure that they know that, like, I love them and I care about them. But
So then I get back to this thing of like, hey, do you do that once a year? But it sounds like you're just more spontaneous.
I am. That's kind
So
of
it's
my
not like, hey,
personality.
every March is grandma camp, or every 4th of July we get the kids for a week, or it's just more
Yes.
chill.
It's more spontaneous. Absolutely.
Okay, I need to be more spontaneous.
Yes.
That's fun.
Oh, well, that's kind of how I am. I'm not. I like to live intentional, but I'm not a great big planner either.
I like that.
It's the spur of the moment.
So what's been your favorite Valentine's to do with your husband?
favorite Valentine's to do with my
That you
husband?
can remember.
Okay.
I know. If you asked me that, I would not.
No, that's a really good question. Well, we don't like to go out to dinner for Valentine's because it's too crowded.
crowded.
Yes.
So we always usually go like during the week and like have a night out or whatever. But we try and do a vacation around Valentine's every year. Last year we were in Hawaii. And it was a lot of fun. It was really good. And my daughter was pregnant, and I decided to come home earlier, and I made it home for the birth by 7 minutes.
Oh no!
Oh, my word. That's
How did you
amazing.
decide to
Now, that's
even
a
come
story.
home?
I don't know. I just had the feeling that I should go home early. So we changed our flights. And when we landed, we got a text that she was in labor, and we drove straight to the hospital.
Wow.
And he was born 7 minutes later.
Oh my
That's
God.
Oh, my word.
fantastic.
Barely.
How awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
It makes me wonder, definitely just be intentional. I love that word.
Yes.
Yeah,
Plan it. If you want to have a successful, loving
specific.
family.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you'll need to come back another time too and tell us more about Grandma Camp and share some crafting ideas. And we know that you're talented in many different ways. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Lori.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll be right back. Stay with us for more love stories.